Shall we move on then to Warrior?
Yay.
Yes. Warrior, which is a mixed martial arts film. We have, in fact, covered one other mixed martial arts film in our time as Fuzz on Film, and that was really, really weirdly a David Mamet film, which I still can't quite get my head around.
David Mamet in the Octagon.
This one, at least, is a little more conventional. I imagine it's unintentional. Scott can correct me otherwise, but mixed martial arts film Warrior is the first of two Gavin O'Connor films on our roster tonight. This first sees Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton as two estranged brothers who, after decades, are reunited when they both enter a high-value, winner-takes-all MMA tournament in Atlantic City. The lead up to this tournament, which, by the way, despite having a $5 million purse, seems to be arranged on an entirely last-minute ad hoc basis, but, don't think about it, MK, fills us in on the brothers. Tommy Hardy and his mother left their alcoholic and abusive father when he was a teenager and moved to the West Coast, and he largely disappeared. Then, one day, he turns up on his father's doorstep, being elusive about his past, and asks him to help him train for this Sparta tournament, training being the one thing he believes his father was any good at. Meanwhile, his elder brother, Brendan Edgerton, lives a happy life with his wife and two daughters, and having had a not enormously successful UFC career, is now a high school physics teacher. But financial concerns leave him needing to return to the ring, something which initially gets him suspended from school, making his situation worse. He therefore doubles down on his MMA training, like a smart man, and by narrative luck ends up being a late-minute replacement for Sparta. Convenient. Tommy, Brendan and Paddy, their father, cross paths at the tournament, with Paddy seeking absolution and his sons uninterested in same, though something of a rapprochement is growing by the film's finale, which, in a narrative that will have surprised nobody whatsoever, sees the brothers meet in the tournament final. Unlike Any Given Sunday or Downhill Racer, it's easy to find someone to root for here. It's Brendan, obviously, though I wonder if it's just from being outside of the United States that I so readily see the true enemy within the film, which is the despicable US healthcare system. As much of Tommy's bitterness stems from the horrible death his mother suffered because she didn't have health insurance, and Brendan is risking his well-being in a cage because he can't pay the third mortgage he had to take out to pay for his infant daughter's heart surgery. But I'll stop myself there, otherwise I'll be here all night. Very much changing the subject then. I can't remember when the whole mumbling Tom Hardy thing took hold, so I'm not sure if this film from 2011 started it or perpetuated it, but given the very meta feel of it, I'm going for the latter. Of all the actors you could cast to play the father of someone with a reputation for mumbling performances, is there anyone more apt than Nick? What was that? Could you repeat that line, please? Nolte. It strikes me as very, very knowing. Hey, I could be wrong. So I mean, where I'm sure I'm not wrong is in thinking that Gavin O'Connor is a fan of the Rocky films, as there are only many, many clues throughout Warrior to suggest this. Despite playing into Hardy's mumblecore delivery by having one character refer to him as Rocky, Tommy is clearly Ivan Drago, with his taciturn demeanour and brutal demolition of opponents, though that actually veers towards Bolo Yeung and Bloodsport territory. And Brendan, the unfancied late challenger, with his incredible ability to take a pounding and still emerge victorious, is Balboa. I promise you that neither of these comparisons is even the most minor of stretches. Not that this is a criticism, it just requires comment. As a whole, the film is pretty enjoyable, though undeniably cliched and emotionally manipulative. Edgerton's sympathetic Brendan is the heart of the film, though Tommy earns some sympathy himself, especially as his backstory is teased out. Paddy, on the other hand, while a pretty good and even occasionally coherent performance from Nolte, I even made out quite a few of his lines, is a wife-beater and can go to hell, though O'Connor does offer him the least redemption. Where it suffers most for me is the action, though it's hardly different from any other films in the genre. Hardy, who made this around the same time as he was portraying Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, is an absolute unit, and there are some visceral and brutal shots on display, with Edgerton getting his fair share too. But the editing and camera work get in the way after a while. I know that it's necessary, as the fights aren't real and the edits must sell contact, or at least hide the lack thereof, but the action is shown in a way that the actual sport absolutely isn't. It might be nice to stay on one shot long enough to see some actual technique. That may have been an unrealistic request, though my other, which is to entirely remove the amateur hour Moby Dick audiobook device that permeates the film, is more reasonable. However, I still enjoyed Warrior quite a lot, and unlike the superior Batman-related fighting film from just the year before this, The Fighter, you at least don't have to contend with the director being a scumbag. Yay!
Yeah, I don't think I've got a great deal more to add there. I really enjoyed Warrior. I don't think it will trouble anyone's list of classic films or anything like that, but it's a solidly enjoyable film. Tom Hardy's very good in it. I thought, given the way his character's written, he portrays that really well. He does a great job of kind of eking out a lot of sympathy in the end for a character that is, initially so standoffish that you can't really seem to get any kind of hook into him. But
it takes a while, but he gets there. Yeah,
it's a good character arc for a film. I think it pulls it through pretty well, and the kind of conflict with his brother, Edgerton's character, kind of works very well. Edgerton's obviously more of an everyman. It's easier to get into his struggles. You'd have to be a monster not to be on his side, given what's happened to him. He's very much written up as the punch bag before he gets his own punches in. But yeah, that whole conflict kind of works out quite well. Arguably, the Nick Nolte father angle is perhaps a bridge too far. It maybe just didn't need that leg of drama to go on. It's a third leg. It's not required. But somehow it managed to pull it off well enough that it's not really a huge issue. And it's a solid performance from Nolte as well. So, yeah, all of it seems to work quite well. The fighting's properly meaty where it needs to be, so I can give it away with a lot of that, given that it's not explicitly a martial arts movie or anything like that. It's I think it blends the kind of conceits needed to make that kind of work in a dramatic sense as well, rather than just being a kind of a Van Damme film or anything like that. So it works. It's a good blend of action and drama. It works pretty well. If you've any interest, certainly if you're any interest in action films and with any kind of slightly more complicated characters, then this works pretty well. I would recommend it to anyone who's in the market for that kind of thing. Yeah, there's not an awful lot to dislike in here. It's a solid film. As I say, not going to trouble anyone's best of films lists. I'm probably never going to watch this again, but quite enjoyed my time with it. So yeah, give it a go.
Yeah. Solid's the word. It's not remarkable. It's competently made. It's entertaining. Solid. That's fine. Sometimes that's all you want.
Yeah,
I think it's about the best this kind of thing can be done.
Yeah. Probably is.
It's like there are no surprises in this film. Everything's fairly perfunctory from a plotting and a script point of view. Probably fair to say that it's elevated somewhat by the performances. I don't know that Joel Edgerton's ever been bad in anything. Tom Hardy, I can take or leave a lot of the time, but I think he serves his purpose pretty well in this film. A couple of bits that I don't buy that Joel Edgerton is the winner of this tournament. Like you say, Drew, he's basically his skill seems to be as a bullet sponge. I don't buy that somehow he's able to take that beating from these people, including his brother and the big Russian fella whose name I forget.
Even when you get to his brother, because really Hardy's a unit here. You know how big he was. His baby, he's huge. But that Russian guy was a monster.
Yeah,
that big Russian fella being Kurt Angle, who's like an American gold medalist, and is portrayed in like pro wrestling as being like the ultimate all-American badass, and shows up here as a Russian, obviously. So weird.
Exactly. I watched
Soviet flags for some reason.
Yeah, I went through a period of watching UFC for a bit and stuff. I saw some Kurt Angle fights. He is a badass, as you say. It's quite believable, him strolling into the octagon and smashing whoever's there and walking out again in 5 seconds flat. Same with Hardy. I don't know, like, in terms of physique and stuff, he's big. He's not as big as Kurt Angle, but like the temperament and his performance, I buy him just walking in and devastating everything inside the ring within 5 seconds and then walking back out again to absolutely no fanfare, or as though there were no fanfare. I get that. I don't buy Joel Edgerton surviving both of those when every other fighter gets absolutely devastated by them within seconds. I didn't buy that. The one other scene,
but I wanted him to, because I really engaged with Joel Edgerton.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't believe this at all, but I want you to win.
Joel Edgerton's never done a bum day's work in his life, I don't think. I haven't seen the Joel Edgerton performance that I don't like yet. Even in the sort of The Thing remake, he's far better than he has any right to be.
He's certainly better than most other people around him.
Oh yeah, I think Joel Edgerton's one of those people who's easily got to be like, pound for pound, he's got to be right up there in the top 5 actors in terms of like best value for money. When I imagine what this guy's probably getting paid for a performance, and I can't think of a film that I've seen him in where there's anyone necessarily better than him.
Yeah, he's in a lot of bad films, like, for instance, like Animal Kingdom or Exodus, God and Kings, or one of the Star Wars films, but he's always good.
Yeah, he's absolutely, he's always valued for money. I also don't buy the scene where Nick Nolte goes back on the sauce. That was a bridge too far for Nolte as an actor. And once in my life, after I first moved down here and I was on a night out in Liverpool, I have actually been drunk enough that there are parts of the night I don't remember. I've never been drunk enough to confuse myself with Ahab. And Nolte doesn't quite pull that scene off, I don't think. But bless him, he gives it a good punt.
That whole Moby Dick thing in there was just kind of an irritation from the start. It was like, oh, this is subtle. And it's not going away. Oh, good.
It's Chekhov's dick. So yeah, it's I enjoyed this film far more than I expected. I think I went in expecting absolutely nothing, and it performed well above that. I can't imagine this kind of story being made again any better, and I'm kind of happy to leave it at that. I'll probably never watch it again, but I'm definitely not disappointed that I did. I really enjoyed my time with it, and that's great. Thank you very much. See you later.